Star Trek 57, M23, take 2.
It's the It's Got Star Trek podcast.
The Enterprise is dead in space, stopped cold during her pursuit of an alien raider by mysterious forces. And I have been somehow whisked off the bridge and placed on the surface of an asteroid, facing the captain of the alien ship. Weaponless, I face the creature the Metrones called a gorn. Large, reptilian, like most humans. I seem to have an instinctive revulsion to reptiles. I must fight to remember that this is an intelligent, highly advanced individual, the captain of a starship like myself. Undoubtedly, a dangerously clever opponent.
There we go.
Hey, it's going. Hey,
And
the
we're
thing,
back.
it's counting.
All right.
What's it doing? It's counting.
Hello and welcome to the It's Got Star Trek podcast.
Out here we're the only policeman around.
Oh, can you play that again?
Out here we're the only policeman around.
I must
So
talk to
out
everybody.
here we're the only police.
Men.
What was the rest of it?
Men around.
Oh, the only policemen around.
Out here we're the only policeman around.
Oh, he really
Policemen
drops
around.
that.
Yeah.
The man.
I guess that didn't come out as well as I thought it would.
No, it's not.
That-
That's not on you.
Mm.
Don't worry.
I
Dan.
should have done a better job filtering. I blame myself.
Is there a filter that would have corrected that?
No, I mean, my personal brain filter. I would've
Oh,
chosen a
like you're
different-
just not selecting that particular
Yeah.
sound.
But it has happened, Doctor.
Okay. I already said the thing, right? I said hello and welcome to the It's Got Star Trek
I heard
podcast.
that.
Probably.
Probably.
This is episode 309
Whoa.
of the It's Got Star Trek podcast. Isn't there?
Out here we're the only policeman around.
Okay. No.
Are we doing this gag again?
No,
from
no,
last
no, no,
week
no,
where
no.
I
It's not a
played
gag.
the
I got
same thing?
confused. I got confused.
I realized, Jesse, you in the middle of that episode last week, you were like, hey, it's got Star Trek podcast. And I was wondering if you said that to try to trigger me. You might have been trying to trigger me.
I was doing something.
Yeah, but I missed it. I missed it because I was
Trying to
probably
do that whole,
saying something.
Yeah,
It was one of those things I snuck in and nobody noticed.
Yeah.
because it is when we say the name of the podcast, right? Is that the deal?
That's when
I don't have to say welcome. It's just the name of the podcast.
Yeah, though last week I was listening back and we were kind of changing the rules a little bit as we
Okay.
went along. So
Well,
I
the
don't
rules
think
are somewhat arbitrary, so that's
Yeah.
quite all right.
Except when I talk. And then everyone's like, that's not when you're supposed to talk. This is when I play a clip. You're not supposed to say anything.
Wow. Okay.
All right. No,
I think that was
No, I'm just joking.
people was directed at me.
The next thing in the order of things is I say the name of the episode.
Oh, shit.
Yes, sir.
This week we are talking about, we will be discussing Star Trek, the original series, season 1 episode, very classic episode, Arena.
Yeah.
The creature apparently called a gorn. Apparently called a gorn. Called a gorn. Gorn. Called a gorn. Called a gorn. Apparently called a gorn. Gorn. The creature apparently called a gorn.
Okay.
Right.
I think
He's never seen those guys before, ever.
we're in for some fun sound action tonight. Now, we
May well be possible, Doctor.
are discussing Arena, and we didn't use Dan's algorithm for this one.
No.
We just picked it.
No, well, I mean, yes, we did just pick it, but we picked it for a particular reason.
The reason is crystal clear.
The reason
Is it though?
that Dan is delaying me from getting to this point. This is like when you listen to those podcasts and you're like, okay, there's something a little weird going on tonight. Well, what's going on?
What's up with these guys?
It's because we got a special guest.
Something we hardly expected.
No, I mean in this case it was fully
It was
expected.
planned
It was
out.
planned out. There's all sorts of planning going on behind the scenes for this. We have a special guest this week.
Good. Good.
And that special guest, who's doing a very good job of staying silent till we introduce him. That special guest had requested that we discuss Arena. So that's why we're discussing Arena. And that special guest is Dan's brother, Rob.
Hey.
Yeah.
Welcome, Rob.
I was hoping you'd do that.
How's it going?
It's going great.
Yes, Dan has two brothers, actually.
Yes.
And I was thinking about it, and I'm excited that we're going to discuss
Two
Arena.
brothers.
We're going to discuss Arena, which is great. But when I was going through my notes, I was like, we should have done like TNG's brothers,
Oh.
with the data and lore.
Oh, wow. That
And I'm not going to ask the question, which is like which one of these data and
because
which
that
one
would
of these
inevitably
lore.
have to come up at that point.
Yeah.
You know?
'Cause
Okay.
we-
That'll be the next time that I come back to
Yeah.
Virginia
Yeah.
for a visit.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good idea. So we previously had discussed, that you're Dan's older brother, which
I
by
am.
definition means that you can kick his ass, right?
Mhm.
Ah.
Yep. He did used to do so.
Yeah,
I
you
bet.
you just used to constantly physically abuse.
We had our fun.
Yeah.
We had our fun. Sorry, I didn't mean to play the high sound over your introduction, Rob. You can have a second chance if you want.
Hi.
There we go. Okay.
So we're very excited to have Rob here, and but yeah, I was thinking, what are some other Star Trek things related to brothers? There are a bunch of brothers on Star Trek, right?
Spock's brother.
Well, there's a whole bunch of Strange New Worlds, the Kirk brothers.
Picard's
Yes,
brother.
Kirk. So James and Sam Kirk, of course.
Bucko.
Spocko. There's Quark and Rom. They're like an ongoing brother thing. That's not
Yeah.
like a one episode thing. Worf has both Kern and
Oh, yeah.
Nikolai.
That
Remember
other guy.
Paul
Paulie.
Sorvino?
Paulie.
Paul
That's right,
Sorvino in
Paul
that one
Sorvino.
episode. There's Wesley Crusher and Presley Crusher.
Wait, what?
The
outta-
unloved. No, but there's Jack Crusher, right? He does
Get
have
outta here.
Jack.
Yeah.
Jack is Wesley's brother, even though they've never interacted.
Mm-hmm.
Remember from that
Picard's
old
got a brother.
Picard show? Oh, that's right. Picard has a brother who died in a fire
Die.
Oh man.
along with his nephew.
'Cause he sucks.
Oh,
No, it
man.
was just like a horrible tragedy. Like, why did they have to add that to
I
Generation?
know.
I shall destroy you.
Okay,
So that's what the fire said to
Yes.
his brother
Yes.
before he did that.
that's what he
He
said.
said
I shall destroy you.
Okay, so we will be getting to talking about Arena shortly, but I did want to highlight two communications we had.
Ooh.
They're not emails. I was about to say emails, but they're not emails. One was a comment, a very kind comment we received on YouTube, and the other was, I believe they're referred to as skeets on Blue Sky.
Skeets.
Fascinating.
Skeets. Wait
I
a
think-
minute. Wait.
That doesn't
Well,
sound
look,
right.
look, I know the whole skeet, the whole Dave Chappelle thing, but I think they're called skeets. Write in at
Wasn't
feedback.
that like Little John?
Feedback at itsgotstartrek.com and tell us what a post on Blue Sky is supposed to be called. I think a post is probably fine, but I think skeet is the
Blue Sky.
the term. Yes.
I don't know, sir.
So let's see here on YouTube. On YouTube, we had a comment on last week's episode when we discussed Future Imperfect. The comment was from @Later by Romeo 9667.
That just sounded like a
Goddamn,
bunch
dude.
of like slurring syllables. You're like later by
Later by Romeo.
Sounds like he made it up.
Later by Romeo. No, oh no. Letter be Romeo. Okay, Romeo. Clearly, I apologize by the way, because this is such a kind comment, and I'm not trying to butcher
You lost your mind?
butcher your name.
Oh,
So
no.
Something the matter, Mr. Spock?
letter by Romeo. Letter by
Sound it
Romeo.
out, Patrick.
That's how I'm doing it.
He's trying, man.
Letter by Romeo 9667. Anyway, on YouTube.
Letter by Romeo.
Yes, and they
Okay.
say, "Hey guys, been a while. I've intentionally skipped y'all's SNW episodes till I get caught up.
Good.
But
That's wise.
I just ain't got anyone to share my experiences with nowadays. My father passed 2 years ago, and TNG was, quote, our show. Thank you guys for continually uploading vids that kind of mirror the conversations my dad and I would have about Star Trek back in the late 2000s and 2010s, and then a number of hearts. And so very sweet. You know, this is a goofy, silly show we put on, but we're appreciative of the fact that folks get a kick out of it from different perspectives.
Yeah, sorry about your dad, man. But thanks for the message.
Yeah.
Glad you can enjoy what
That's
we
what we're here
put out
for.
here.
I think that's great. And then to follow that up on Blue Sky, our old friend David Joseph Moody simply tweeted a link, onlyfans.com/It's Got Star Trek.
Right. And then somebody else clicked on it.
Yes, Grayson then replied, I fully clicked. Unfortunately, folks, yes, if you click that, you will not
There
currently
was nothing.
You will not currently find an active OnlyFans site. Please rest assured, Jesse and I have been arguing
fully clothed.
that Dan really ought to handle this. I handle the Blue Sky, Dan. I think you should handle the OnlyFans. I love that pipe laugh. Okay,
Yeah,
so
funny.
those are some fun communications this week.
What would we put on the OnlyFans site? Does it have to be naked?
Dick.
I mean,
Well,
Isn't that what you're supposed to put on?
I mean, is there anything else you're allowed to put on there?
Well,
You can put whatever you want, man.
exactly.
Perhaps nothing, Doctor.
In principle, it was actually started.
Perhaps everything.
Oh my God, that was one of those long ones.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, and then
Well,
OnlyFans
you
is
can
a
put that
long
on
one.
there, too.
Yeah.
unintentional.
Hey-oh.
But yes, Rob's correct. In its initial conception, OnlyFans was advertised as any person who wanted to who display their talent in whatever fashion possible. It just so happens that it's really lucrative to sell pictures of yourself with pert breasts.
I was just saying I don't like that word.
I know this was a pre-podcast.
I think I like it.
conversation.
I think I like
It was
it.
a
now.
trap.
And yeah, so I don't know, Dan. We could get an OnlyFans. We could get the OnlyFans site, and you don't have to necessarily take naked pictures. You could take pictures of your cats or something to start.
Oh yeah,
Wouldn't that?
Cats.
I think that would disappoint
You could
people.
do cats.
I mean,
I don't think
You
it
got
would.
cute cats.
Yeah,
man.
you do have really
I don't
fucking
think
cute
it would.
cats.
Yeah, but like, do people go to OnlyFans to look at cats? And
But your fans
and
would.
I know there's a pun that can be made about OnlyFans and cats, but like,
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about.
I honestly, it's just.
I mean, Patrick,
Are
you
you
got a
talking
cute cat,
about
too.
like?
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, my cat's pretty cute.
Luna's super soft.
She is very
She's
soft.
super soft.
She's like one of
super
them
soft.
ragdoll soft cats.
She ran away from me, so I didn't get to pet her. But
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah,
but
she probably
likes-
just wanted
she
to
looks
go
well, she
soft.
likes to play. She likes to play runaway. You know.
yeah.
And guard the outside and do her little patrols.
Very clever.
Well, maybe we can put all our cats online. I mean,
I got a
Jesse.
couple.
Yeah, your cats are no slouches either.
We can take nude pictures of our cats.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Start a new trend.
We're not going to shave them,
No.
just
Just
as God intended.
Okay. On
May
that
well be possible, Doctor.
let's
mildly awkward note.
let's bring that up at a different time.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Let's start talking about Arena, and maybe that's a good spot to start, which is this episode is a really good collection of classic Star Trek musical stings.
Yeah.
It doesn't have all of them, but it has some of the real go-tos, and it has them isolatable
Yeah.
because there's not parts with not a lot of dialogue.
Yeah.
Hence what you've just demonstrated there. I mean,
Yeah.
I was providing dialogue.
Yeah, you were providing dialogue while I
Yeah.
played, but you were able to
That
do
was a-
that
that was
because,
a- that was
because
a
there was no
monologue.
other dialogue.
And then it uses them over and over and over
does.
and over
Yeah.
and over.
It is a little aggravating. And then the added issue is that because this is classic, not just the episode, but those musical stings. I used to have my computer like years ago, 20 years ago. A lot of my error messages it was a combination of clips from Pulp Fiction, Spaceballs, and Star Trek musical stings. And like that, they would also be too long. So there would be like the system error would be like a 10-second clip.
I remember
And so like I'd hear it over and over again.
I think I remember taking sound clips from Adam Sandler's first comedy album. They're all gonna laugh at you. Like
Nighttime is the right time. That
there
one.
was one where they were playing bass.
Snake, man.
There was,
Yeah.
there was the one where they were playing baseball, and he's like, "Oh, my neck!" and like the ball hits him in the neck, and it goes thump. And that was like my error message at ball thumping.
I used
If
to
you
have
haven't
Homer
listened to
Simpson
it-
going dope, dope.
Oh yeah.
That's classic.
See, Jesse's and your guys is more relatable. Mine is like if you hadn't listened to that obscure sketch on that album, like, then you wouldn't know.
But that's part of
talking
your
about-
charm.
That's part of my charm. It'd be even better if I had brought the sound, but I didn't know we were going to be talking about this shit.
Wow.
But you were talking about repeating, Rob. You're talking about repeating sounds. Another sound they repeated were several gorn growls. There's four different times, in fact. See what you think about this, or hear what you think about this.
And before you start, I'm interested in this because I didn't catch this. So I guess they did a pretty decent job of spreading them around a little bit.
I want you guys to let me know if you think these are repeated. So there's four different ones.
Is this like a game?
It's not. It didn't intend to be a game, but it just kind of like it sounded the same to me. So like I don't know if like this isn't a game. Like I didn't take the same sound and do it over and over again. These are 4 separate sounds from the episode, and I want your opinion.
You're not playing games.
It's not. I'm not playing. I'm not playing.
A game.
Yeah, this is not a game. It's just what do you? I'm asking your opinion. That's what we do on podcasts. We talk about
survey.
We talk about our opinion. So this is just us podcasting. There's no games.
Oh, I see.
No lists. It's just us talking. It's just us talking.
Do you have a list, by the way?
I do.
Are there
I
any
have lists too.
Oh, you do?
Excellent.
I
Okay.
did because a Glaubit's list.
I like that. The Glaubitz.
We should go with his list first then.
All
I
right.
have 2 lists,
Go
one
for it.
short and one longer.
Oh, good. Hey, audience, do you see the family
Oh, my
connection here?
goodness.
But what Rob hasn't done is he hasn't prefaced that his lists are shitty, terrible, boring lists.
No, I got good lists.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. See,
That's the older brother energy right
Older
there.
brother.
Yeah. Confidence, man.
All right. Here's
Let's hear some sounds.
4
some
separate
repeated
gorn
sounds.
growls. See if they sound the same to you, because I don't know if they are, but they sounded to me. That's one.
Oh. That is awful similar.
That last one had a little mustard at the end of it, but
yeah,
like,
but it's like it's the same kind of sound they use.
yeah.
Corn mustard.
To
it's
me,
like crab mustard.
Yeah.
It's gorn mustard.
Yeah.
It did sound pretty similar to me. I mean, I could easily believe that at least at the base, those were the same sound clip with maybe some additional stuff.
They only had to pay a
around.
guy for one sound.
Do you remember when the gorn was laughing?
Yes.
And then there was... That's harder to hear, but then there was this one. That was kind of a laugh, but then there was this one. Do you remember that one?
No.
Okay. Yeah. What obscure reference is that? No. Is that dog that does that weird wheezing?
Yeah.
laugh?
Muttley, yeah.
Oh my god.
What was this? What was his owner's name? Snively or something?
Yeah.
Snidely
Snidely Whiplash.
Whiplash, right? Yes.
Oh,
Very,
that's
very-
kind of hard to listen to.
Very clever, Dan.
Damn,
but
dude.
Dan, you did not let us all give
Very
our
clever.
opinions on our opinions on.
Oh,
things.
I'm sorry. I didn't even-
I think I said they kind of sounded the same.
Okay.
I don't know.
I think
Rob,
they do,
I mean,
yeah.
Jesse,
they're
what do
the
you
same.
think?
Yeah, they're the
Yeah.
same.
They
with
sound
like,
awful similar, sir.
Yeah.
But you don't know with certainty, right, Dan? So
I don't know with certainty, no.
This was truly just our opinion.
Yeah.
Podcasting.
It's just
style.
like our opinion.
What does
man.
it say on like Chakatea?
Yeah.
Chakatea doesn't give opinions
Chocolate Town.
except sometimes they insert little editorial messages like in between the script lines, but they wouldn't comment on something like that.
Shit.
Probably.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's less of an opinion page and more of just a
The
script.
hell
page.
was him then?
Yeah. What good are they anyway?
What were some of the other? Did you have any of the other musical stings? I know you maybe already played them all. I don't know.
do 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 like that one where they did like 15 times.
Yeah, you did a lot of that.
All I really had was that one.
Oh, that's a big one.
That was
yeah.
one of my error messages.
Yeah.
Or maybe when ICQ
that's
message
tight.
came in or something.
And then I played these two. That was two of them at the same time.
You played them. Wait, okay.
But then the third one.
Wait. Can you please explain again?
Fascinating.
So just to clarify, that was 2 sound clips being played simultaneously because they're the same sound clip or a repeated sound
Well,
clip?
the first one starts like this,
Okay.
and this one starts. And
So
if you
like
play them
what?
next to each other. Are those octaves? It's like da 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 da.
They're like at fifths.
Fifths. Are they fifths?
They're fifths and octaves together,
Okay, yeah.
It's
So
like tubas and trombones.
but they have.
that sounds like a trumpet.
Well, that's trumpets, but the lower one.
That sounds like a trombone-y.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
trombone.
And we
Yeah, I guess-
remember last week we outed Dan as a big time boner.
Yeah, we did.
All time
Big
boner.
boner.
I think we've outed him.
Yeah, fifths
before.
and eights. You can
Right.
like put octaves and fifths and eights together, and they just sort of like blend
It's
together
nice,
into one
seamless-
thing.
Nice and seamless kind of.
That's why they were.
It's in the overtones. Here.
That's why they were parallel fifths and parallel eights. I remember learning all about that. How like those were
you
frowned.
couldn't-
Those
you
were
couldn't
frowned
do that,
upon.
Yeah.
I guess.
Why were they frowned upon?
Because
Well,
I think
it-
what it does is it absorbs like the individual notes, so they don't
Yeah.
really work.
It makes things sound fuzzier or something.
It's like they don't. It's like if you have two melodies going on, you can't. When they're fifths and eights, they kind of blend and become like the same thing. So you can't tell the notes apart as easily or
Okay.
something like that. I don't know, Rob. Do you have an opinion on that?
It just kind of like makes the harmonic changes sound hollow.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the reason. But I think
Right.
actually they said that it was like the devil was in those.
Really?
Right.
I think that was like the reason
that
they
was the
gave.
tritone.
That makes
Well,
me.
the devil was in the tritone, but also like the parallel stuff.
I thought the devil was in the
that's right,
details.
yeah.
The devil's in everything.
There was
man.
some kind of parallel devil business. Yeah.
But the other
That makes me want to hear some of that shit. I
know,
want to hear
yeah.
some devil music.
But
Well,
I mean,
that's like, you
well,
know,
rock
pop-
and roll,
pop music,
pop
yeah.
music is the devil's music
Well,
because all
Parallel
pop,
fourths and
yeah,
fifths.
because power chords are just parallel fifths and eights, so
Yeah.
it's all devil music.
I
so.
didn't even know that.
So
That's
there's
awesome.
a technical
Yep.
reason why it is the music of the devil because of the parallel
I
fifths.
it
like-
sounds good.
I like learning that fact because isn't it what's the angels thing when when the chorus? Because I remember in chorus
they play trombone.
because I no in chorus
Trombone is
like
God's instrument.
there's certain combination where like the extra overtones happen when everyone's singing properly,
yeah.
and they call it like the angel's voice or something like that. It's just the opposite of the devil's voice,
Right.
I suppose.
Yeah. So the fourth musical hit, which is just part of the same as those last two, was just this one. It's just a step up from before. So I didn't get any of the other good ones.
I mean, you got the main.
So what if I play those two
main
next
ones.
week?
Crazy piano. Wow.
That just sounded like brown.
Wow, yeah,
Like,
well,
like
this-
when you mix all the colors together and you
Somebody's
get brown.
doing some wacky piano, like.
Well, you guys are paying more attention to the music. I'm listening to like the crunchy rock noises and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was some
Yeah.
crunching.
Yeah. Yep. So there's that.
Oh, I thought there were.
Those are the only. Those are the only musical. Oh, I mean,
That's a wealth,
no, it's just
of, a
funny.
wealth of sound.
I mean, there's
information.
also this one. That wasn't fun.
Of course. Good old TAS.
It's not even time for a break yet. That
TAS
was
is,
perfect.
is
Yeah.
a nice source for that sort of thing. So
That guy was really hissy.
look,
Yeah.
I've seen this episode a million times, of course, but I think it's one of those ones I always forget how long it takes to get to the Gorn business.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know.
There's like all this shit
There's
happens.
all that
like,
bit. There's like that mortar. Like
yeah,
with
well, they
the
start out, they're all like, hey, we're going to go have fun hanging out with this admiral who just likes to fucking feed people.
Commodore.
Or
Yeah,
Commodore, you're
rank
right.
has its privileges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
It was a
Commodore.
creepy McCoy moment.
Yeah, it was a little bit because I was like, are there going to be like ladies showing up at this thing? Like, what is he expecting? Right?
Outpost scientist.
How well we both know that, huh?
Like, what the fuck did that mean? Is he getting
Probably rank hath its privileges. He sets a good table.
It's great. I mean, it's
Weird
little,
dudes.
yeah. I
I
mean,
wonder if he brought his personal chef along with him to
Yeah.
test us through.
McCoy was
Oh, yeah.
really creepy in this
Yeah.
episode.
We're really
know.
going to eat some.
there's a lot of
tonight.
innuendo there. Is it like one of
I
those
know.
things with the sushi on the naked lady?
Yeah,
Like, what-
Because the way he's talking
for
is
real.
the way.
I wonder if he brought his personal chef along with
So
him.
you
to
could
test
just
us
say
through.
he's going like.
The one that cooks with her tits out.
All right. Well, that's certainly one way
If
to
you
look
know
at it.
what I'm talking about.
You'll enjoy Commodore Travers.
You'll enjoy Commodore Travers.
Indeed.
Jesse, remind me, Commodore is what became what? Is that like junior admiral?
It's
or
like a
something?
1-star.
1-star admiral. Yeah.
So it's like before rear admiral.
yeah, rear. So yeah, rear admiral.
But now it doesn't exist.
Vice
There's just,
admiral,
like,
yeah.
2 rear admirals.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's like the modern Navy.
Seems
But,
like they gotta
but in
bring Commodore
Starfleet,
back.
they had a Commodore and then a rear admiral.
So there were like 2 parts of this episode that occurred before the Gorn thing happens. There's the planet like battle action with the awesome choreo.
it's like 3 acts.
Yeah, and what people remember, I think most is like the sort of like clumsy choreography between the Gorn and Kirk. Like, but those are just the hand-to-hand parts, which weren't that big of a part of the episode at all. It's actually a very small part. There was a lot of good, cool shit actually going on in this episode. I think this episode's better than I remember.
Like
it,
Kirk
honestly.
like threw a rock at the Gorn and it totally hit him like square on like square on like his chest or some shit, and like the Gorn like threw a rock, like a big ass rock at Kirk, and it Kirk was able to like jump out of the way. Like it was almost like the Gorn was like, see, I can throw a rock at you,
right?
Like, but Kirk like totally fucking hit him.
It was like rock for rock. I believe, because so at the beginning, of course, starts out with them being like, oh, we're gonna go have fun with this creepy Commodore dude. They beam down and they're immediately like, oh shit, shit's fucked up here. Everything looked all cratery and all that. And then they get under attack, like mortar attack, which is kind of hilarious when you think about it from more modernized.
Oh yeah, that was like some kind of artillery.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, in fucking 1966, I imagine the memory of like World War II and stuff just being like shelled all day is like probably still around.
Yeah,
well,
that was definitely World War II style.
The Gorn were shooting like mortars, but like the Starfleet, the crew was shooting. They called them grenade launchers, but then they referred to them as jewels, and they weren't just like bombs. They were like they zapped like a thousand,
they were like
high
tech,
a 1,000-yard radius to just zapped everything.
Area effect.
Well, they called them disruptors actually, which is weird that they called them disruptors, and then they were exploding except for the red shirt who like zapped up into nothing.
He just froze. That was really uncomfortable because
and
he
also
just
Kirk didn't even seem to care, so he's just like, okay.
He cared more about the other guy who, remember, like he was like, I forget the name, but he was like, yo, what's your name? Come over here. And then some other guy ran up. He's like, sorry, that dude's dead. And Kirk was all like, oh man.
Well, I mean, and he was pretty casual when they beamed down to the planet and everything was fucked up because he was just like,
Cestus 3 has been destroyed.
Yeah, he was just like, oh, Cestus 3 has been destroyed. He didn't seem to be like, or anything like that. He was just like,
Did you notice how they were calling shields screens?
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
That.
And for some reason, this was the first time that in all the times that I've watched this episode, that I noticed that for some reason.
This is one of the weird things about this episode.
Did they ever use screens in other episodes?
I think especially.
I mean, it's a regular. It was one of the regular writers for TOS.
It was season 1. I mean, when you watch season 1 TOS, what's funny is first of all, it's amazing how much like both classic episodes and lore is laid down in just that first season. Yeah. But then there's a bunch of shit that's weird and crazy, like it's space fleet. You have different terms for things, like I don't know if they call it Starfleet or I forget exactly, but there's like different terms.
Yeah.
They refer to defense screens or screens a few times. I think they also use shields in the first season, but different stuff. And just there's a few different things that are like phrased differently that becomes more consistent later on.
They didn't call Prime Directive.
No, General Order number 1.
Mm-hmm. Oh, back at those like launcher things,
little grenade launcher.
So first of all, Spock was referring to things in just terms of units as yards, which I thought was interesting.
That is weird.
He didn't use the metric system because, like, I know
because Starfleet's American.
Yeah, right. Like
maybe the Vulcans don't use the metric.
The Vulcans are all imperial.
Yeah,
they're imperialistic. Maybe that's their philosophy.
It's like the only good thing about humans. I would feet and inches.
I would just think that Vulcan, if they're going to use an Earth-centric measurement, they would use the metric system because it's easier because it's more logical to use that, and especially because what do we have? We have metrons in this episode, so they would be using the metric system. But anyways, like he was trying to shoot those guys who were like 1,200 yards away, and his buddy was like, "That's pretty close to shoot one of these things." Yeah. And so,
which at first you're like, really? But then when it went off, as you said, Rob, you're like, oh my God, this like fucking like blew up like this huge area.
But I mean, how accurate can those things be? Because apparently, so those are supposed to be super long range weapons, right?
It's not about accuracy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're
close enough.
Well, they're supposed to be long range, so you're supposed to be able to shoot it super far away, but like you can't get any kind of accuracy at the distance.
It's indirect fire.
Well, yeah, but
zappy.
My point is that the distance that you're supposed to shoot it, I think, is farther than it's.
Yes.
Yeah, but that was what the guy was implying. He was like, aren't we going to blow ourselves up?
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying the weapon is flawed because the weapon, the explosion is too big for that kind of weapon. It didn't make sense, right?
Yeah, no,
because that's more of a short range weapon, I would think.
That little mortar they were using.
And because if you want to shoot something at the distance that's a safe distance to shoot it from you, you're going to want more like mathematical calculations to determine, and not just like azimuth yards shit.
Well, I wondered if they had like they were all the same color. I mean, I wonder if there was like another bullet that was like a different color.
Maybe
that had like less of a range.
So
they were just using the wrong bullet. for the distance.
Those,
And they did look super futuristic.
They were very shiny.
Yeah, and I
thought they were like Chuck E. Cheese ball pit.
Well, yeah, but in a futuristic way, they did look thicker than that.
They did,
like some sort of bath bomb or something. But
they had like gel inside them.
Yeah, I don't know. I was sort of impressed with that.
That was
in the context of
they definitely look better than those
show.
those wooden blocks. They were called data tapes.
Yeah, they were just clearly just like little pieces of wood.
Yeah, and people overseas, what do you think's comparable to Chuck E. Cheese's?
Oh, you mean for our international
yeah.
listeners?
Ball pits?
I don't know, because a Chuck E. Cheese is such a bizarre concept. Should we explain it?
I don't think they have that in other countries.
And I think it's technically Chuck E. Cheese is.
Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese is. It's his place.
It's his place.
His name is Chuck E. Cheese. He's a rat.
Yeah.
All right, so folks.
Carlos E. Queso.
Folks, because we do have folks, a bulk of our audiences from around the world. So Chuck E. Cheese's is this strange place that is ostensibly intended for children to go hang out. It is owned by a rat character, and who hangs around with these mechanical creatures, and they do weird dances.
You can eat pizza
They're
there
not mechanical
and play
anymore.
video
I've been to one in the last 3 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why were you at a Chuck E. Cheese?
I was at a kid's birthday party.
Oh, wow. Is it a lot different than what we were? Do they still have Tron?
No, it's the same.
No, I mean they have a bunch of arcade games.
Are all the arcades like mobile games and like style games where it's like they're not?
No, I mean they have some like normal ones,
Okay.
but like most of the stuff is like Kids Bop, like on a screen with Chuck E. Cheese characters like animated, and occasionally like a guy in a rat costume comes on and talks to people.
Right.
And then they have a trampoline like center, but you have to pay extra to go in there.
Right. So yeah, they used to actually have full-sized like robots.
Didn't we go to once as adults, and then you farted in the?
No.
Where
what are you
did you fart
talking
in
about?
My
the
nephews used to have a
playground?
bunch of birthday parties.
Didn't we crawl around?
No.
making that up?
I think you are, because I think if us as adults tried to go to Chuck E. Cheese's without kids, we would get some dirty looks.
I don't mean recently. I think
Absolutely.
we were like 20 something.
I still think that we would have got at that age. We would have gotten dirty looks and gotten.
I think
kicked
we
out.
did, and
I don't
I think
think.
we might
I don't
have been asked
think.
to leave.
I
I
someone
think
else.
there's just that one out in Fairfax.
Might have been a dream.
Yeah, the grossest thing about Chuck E. Cheese is they have a salad bar.
Yeah,
Why would you get a
nasty.
salad
It's
at
crazy.
Chuck E. Cheese? That's
Like, with-
so
And
gross.
the pizza
Yeah,
is just the worst.
Those kids, a bunch
is.
of those kids like around a salad bar. I wouldn't trust that.
Yeah.
But then they had like
Sneezy salad.
hamster tubes for kids.
Yes,
you know,
the hamster.
Yeah.
That's what I thought you
That's pretty
farted in,
fun.
but I guess not.
No,
it honestly just could have been a dream.
something about the hamster tubes. I remember
See,
now.
that's the thing is, I have a feeling you like came out of the hamster tube with a big old grin on your
I
face.
don't
'cause
know.
you like farted, and the kids were all like, "Oh no!" Anyway.
I feel like I would have remembered that better. But
well, we can discuss it over
but
the
anyway,
break.
but the ball pits are the things. The pits
Yes,
full of
the ball
balls.
pits,
that-
exactly.
That shit
and then
always smells
arcade
like a
games.
fart.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Dan, because it means that entire conversation was relevant. So
Yes, right.
we need to take a break. So when we get back, we will continue our discussion of Arena. Be right back.
He's gone. They'll be back.
I'll be back.
Kirk out. Kirk out.
And we're back.
Energize.
That was a good one.
We weren't expecting anything.
Yeah, that's right. It's like,
that
why
guy.
weren't you expecting anything? You're like a fucking Commodore.
That dude was like member of the Overactors Anonymous. He was
Yeah, but he was doing it in front of everybody.
and just waving his head back and forth, side to side.
There has to be a reason. There has to be a reason.
There's not.
Why does this guy think there's going to be a reason?
Yeah, it's a sort of a peculiar perspective. It's just like,
They wouldn't listen.
Well, I guess.
Why?
Why?
I guess
Why
from,
did they do it?
from a narrative
Why did
standpoint.
they do it?
The Gorn.
From a narrative standpoint, they are priming the audience to understand the later assertion that the Gorn did have a reason from their perspective, and that's the sort of I guess the ultimate moral point of this episode is maybe an anti-colonial message.
So this was the episode where William Shatner got tinnitus.
I believe.
from an
Yeah, I was
explosion.
going to mention
and
that,
actually,
yeah.
so at certain, I was reading, so did Leonard Nimoy.
Oh.
And they got it in
But his wasn't as
opposite
bad.
ears.
Was it from
yeah,
the-
not as bad, but yeah.
Was it from this one?
It was from like some kind of explosion during the.
One of the ones that
Yeah.
That
where he
whistle
was like jumping.
That whistle noise freaked the shit out of my cats.
It's got to be
Like
loud.
it's supposed to freak the shit out of you. It's not a pleasant.
My cats started running around the room. Like one of my cats like got up and did the thing where she like looked behind the TV to see what was going on. And like when I was putting this together earlier, like I played the sound again. Every time she hears it, she starts looking around like all wide-eyed. Like she doesn't usually freak out by sounds because she's used to it. But
I have
these
a
ones
cat
fuck her up.
that gets freaked out when somebody whistles. If it hears whistling, like it just like fucking runs.
Yeah.
All right, so we're back from the break. Jesse, I believe you had a mortar fact. One of Jesse's.
I was going to talk about how
mortar fact.
That the tinnitus.
Oh, okay.
Is it pronounced tinnitus or tinnitus?
I think
it's
tinnitus. Isn't it? Or tinnitus? I've heard both.
I think it says
tinnitus.
Tinnitus. I think we all suffer
tinnitus.
from. Probably all of us here suffer from some degree of tinnitus or tinnitus.
Oh yes.
To one degree or another. But yeah, Shatner famously suffers from it very badly.
But I didn't know that
he
Leonard
almost
Nimoy
killed
had
himself.
it either.
Oh boy, bummer.
Yeah.
But it turns out Leonard Nimoy had it in the other ear.
It seems intense because it's not fun to deal with.
I seem to have it in both ears.
I don't like to sleep with absolute quiet. I need a fan on, otherwise I start hearing.
I have a white noise machine. It's good times.
Podcasts are good for that.
You actually have a white noise machine?
Yeah.
Mine is called a fan, but you actually have.
I have a white noise machine. I'll show it to you. I brought it to your house.
Ooh.
I have too because I have children. That's good.
Yeah,
for
I like those sounds, those noises where you get the speaker
It's all
to play
right.
some, or like rain noise.
Yeah, I like that. Better.
Rain can be good.
Water flowing.
So that's why you
Gorns growling in the background.
Bubbling and babbling.
So that's why you didn't need a fan last time you were over. You had a white noise machine.
He's making gorn noises.
I don't know if I have any.
That'd be so relaxing to go to bed to.
All right, so
I could dig it. Yeah.
we've already had Jesse's mortar fact, which was related to the Shatner's ringing in the ears. Now we are ready for one of Rob's lists. Rob has advertised 2 lists.
I have 2 lists.
He's got a big one.
You want to start with let's start with the shorter list.
I will start with the shorter list.
Okay.
Crap that I saw in 4K that I never noticed when I watched this on a CRT TV originally.
Yeah.
So and there's lots of stuff, but this is the shorter list. So the first is the makeup. Spock and Sulu both had some like pretty epic eyeshadow in this particular one.
Colorful.
Very colorful. Like Spock was like all the way up to his eyebrows.
I actually remember that from past episodes too. Like I think I just assumed that I'd seen it before, but I do remember being surprised by it. But my dumbass didn't put together that it was like, oh, that's probably because of the 4K thing.
Yeah. But Kirk didn't have eyeshadow, but he had like pretty
eyes.
pretty
eyes.
He already had
pretty like strong eyeliner on. So and then like the injured guy, whatever his name was, I knew he had a name, but I don't know.
I don't think he did have a name actually, because Chakotay just calls him Man.
But they just like slap a bunch of scar wax on him, so his face looks like he's melting off.
Peeling.
But it looks like pretty bad.
Well, I was gonna say, because that reminded me of Halloween when I was a kid. I went as Freddy Krueger, which as a kid, if I had known that Freddy Krueger was actually some terrible child molester, I probably wouldn't have gone as high as.
It's okay.
Those words didn't come out of my mouth in the correct order.
It's okay, Dan.
Well, I was like 10 years old. I didn't know Freddy Krueger. I didn't even know what a child molester was.
It was a movie, man.
Yeah. Anyways, but like
Dan didn't find out what a child molester was until he was about 12.
Oh God.
Oh no.
Oh no. But the makeup I used to make my face look like Freddy Krueger was some kind of like weird squishy plastic goo that you put on your face.
Oh yeah.
It kind of reminded me of that, although I think my makeup looked a little more realistic than that guy's.
No, it
I remember that
look,
shit.
didn't look good.
Yeah.
All right, next on the list.
So that's number 1. So number 2, there was a fly that landed on Kirk after he got thrown by the Gorn.
Oh, really?
So you can see, he gets thrown by the Gorn. He's like lying there on the ground, and a fly lands on him, and like you can see it flying around from like and lands on him several times.
Whoa.
So again, something you only see in 4K.
And you got to figure that the producers at the time, this is my understanding anyway, is they were shooting on film, like high quality stuff with good cameras and everything, but they had an innate understanding of what was actually going to show show up on a 1960s TV where many people had not even converted over to color. Like one of the reasons why TOS was so colorfully designed in the sets was it was a way to sell color TVs, to be like, hey, check out how awesome this show looks in color. But yeah, you're probably not going to see the fly landing on Shatner.
Yeah, another thing that you wouldn't normally see is the vines, which are clearly on 4K. You can see that there are ropes with greenery stalks just attached to them.
Yeah,
but again, they would look like maybe vines a little bit less high definition. And then of course the Gorn costume itself, which you can just see all sorts of
seams,
interesting things. Like when it's really close up on the eyes, you can tell that they're just heat set crystals that they placed on there. So and then the ear hole is just like a metal grommet. So it's like inside the
like on an umbrella or something. Like deck furniture.
But also like really cool details. Like you could see the whiskers glistening in the sun from certain angles, and so they took the time to put whiskers in there, and you would never seen that except in HD.
I always just assumed the eyes were like microphone covers or something like that, microphone heads. But what were you saying? They were?
No, they were actually like those little heat set crystals. They're like they're just really small, and they just put a bunch of them like right next to each other,
like on a styrofoam ball or something.
Yeah, like something like that. So they look like little disco like eyes. So
it's fun to clown on the Gorn costume, but I really it's interesting, right? I don't know. It looks pretty good. I agree with you.
The shiny jumpsuit.
It's silly on the one hand, but it's still kind of scary.
It's detailed.
This episode, I mean, I really think this is a really good episode.
It is a very good episode.
And it's just there's like 2 or 3 parts where they go in hand-to-hand combat that look really silly.
Yes, the slow fight.
But like all the other choreography, like running through the field and all that shit and jumping through, and they even did a pretty good job hiding that the extras were the stunt people because like
little bunny foo hopping through the forest.
Because sometimes the stunt people they don't even make an effort to hide their faces. But anyway, so that's getting a little off topic.
Agreed.
Yeah, and then the last one is things like the shoes. So I don't know if you noticed that Kirk's boots were different while he was on the planet.
Oh, I didn't.
No, so he on the planet, like when he's on the Enterprise, he's wearing like normal like boots with heels, like military boots. But you can't run on rocks in them. So he actually has wrestler boots on.
I didn't.
Yeah,
like
old style pro wrestler like lace up high boots that'll stick to the rock, so he can run on the
totally didn't catch it. I'll have to go back.
There's a great scene where he's sitting on the rock talking into his whatever the thing he was talking into.
The electric
shaver. And he's got his like feet kind of like at an angle, and he's still like sitting back on his haunches, and you can see a real clear shot of like the boots.
That's great.
So yeah. And then I just thought the rocks looked like even more fake in HD than they do, especially some of them were just like so clearly foam.
Which is one. I mean, again, I know this is silly, but it's one thing that I do miss in some of the newer Star Treks is that the production quality is so high, which is great. On the other hand, it's like you kind of miss the fake rock look.
Although I do always like when they try to take something light and pretend it's really heavy.
He's like, oh!
Yeah. They did mostly a better job than I remember, but it's still like the rocks were a little too twitchy on the ground when they were lifting them.
He takes a big
yeah.
rock and like hurls it at like
yeah, when it's sitting on top of him, it's like shifting back and forth.
Right, exactly.
It obviously weighs like 2 pounds.
The momentum is just not proper.
Yeah,
not proper.
Not proper.
Not proper.
All right. So Rob's got 2 lists, but
that was my first list. That was all HD stuff that you wouldn't have noticed.
And thanks so much. There were definitely things I didn't notice in there that I want to go back and look at, especially the boot thing, because that's hilarious to be like the Metrons were like, but we want to make sure you're well clad when you have this battle. Should we go over to one of Dan's lists now?
We are the Metrons.
Sure.
Competing Glaubitz list?
Dueling lists.
This is a list called Kirk problems. Kirk behaving in ways that I'm not used to seeing him
Wouldn't it
behave.
be funny if both of you came up with the same list concept?
That'd be fucked up, man.
No, it wouldn't be fucked up. It'd be funny.
It would be like we'd be like doubled over laughing.
I don't know. But,
My second list is just weird stuff that I saw in this episode.
Dan sometimes has like just a weird
thing.
There's lots of weird things in this episode. Like anyway.
Wow. Yeah, we don't want to spoil the list.
Don't want to spoil it.
So,
all right.
So anyone who's more of an expert on Kirk than I am, please correct me. Kirkspert.
Calling all Kirksperts out there.
I don't know about that.
This is the It's Got Star Trek podcast. Calling all Kirksperts. Write in at feedback@itsgotstartrek.com. Subject line: Kirkspert.
Kirksport.
All right, Dan, sorry.
That sounds dirty.
I'm unintentionally distracting from your list.
Kirksport. So I'm just not used to. When I think of Kirk, I don't think of Kirk in this way. Or maybe you can, if Kirk is often like this, you can call the list how Kirk versus Picard or something like that. This is just weird ways that Kirk sort of behaved, I thought. Okay. So I felt he was uncharacteristically presumptive about the reason for the Gorn attack on Cestus 3. Now, granted, these are all this is the premise of the episode. So they kind of couldn't get around it. This is what the episode's all about. But, he's all like talking about like Spock's all questioning about like proof about that them invading. He's like, I have all the proof I need on Cestus 3. And Spock's like, whoa, chill out. Not necessarily. And he's like, how can you explain a massacre like that? No, Mr. Spock, the threat is clear and immediate. Invasion, like he's very like quick to jump to the conclusion that there is no other explanation than the Gorn are invading them. A hint, and by the way, the hint that was going to be the subject of the episode later on was how reluctant Spock was, like, and how like bummed out Spock looked about that whole situation when Kirk was talking about, oh, we got to destroy the ship. You really see as emotionally distraught as I've ever seen Spock. You can tell he's like not cool with like what's going on there.
He's uncomfortable. Even though he's still following orders, but he's uncomfortable with those orders.
That's actually another interesting part is because Spock, he doesn't agree with this, but he knows it's not his job to question orders. It's his job to help the captain complete the orders. So he doesn't agree to it, but he's such a good soldier in Vulcan that he follows.
Such a good soldier in Vulcan. He's like a gentleman in a Vulcan.
But I mean, he had
an officer and a Vulcan.
He had
that works better. An officer and a Vulcan.
A gentle Vulcan.
He had a couple sort of instances is that because like for example, remember when they were talking about
space legends?
You're talking about space legends.
It's like these guys are space legends.
Yeah, so Spock because Kirk asks if there's any aliens in the area or whatever, and Spock's like, well, there's rumors of that stuff. He's like, it's not scientific, it's all conjecture and blah blah blah. So you can tell Spock's like really lending no credence to that assertion. He's like, it hasn't been proven. It's a rumor. I'm not going to like entertain this thought.
More scientific.
Yeah, and so it's like, it's not my job to determine whether there are aliens or not. It's my job to interpret the information I was given, and the information I was given is not enough to go on what would be instinct, basically, which is what Kirk did. Kirk went on instinct, and he turned out Kirk was right. But like, so this is another.
Well, not entirely. Because they weren't planning on invading. They were just like getting rid of this particular
But the rumors were that there were aliens in the area. Yeah. So these are both instances of Spock like strictly adhering to his job. It's like, it's not my job to make these decisions. It's the captain. It's not my job to prove the existence of aliens in this area. It's my job to interpret that information. And then there was another part later where
by the way, this is not related to the Kirk list. This is a side adventure.
This is a side adventure. So at one point, Bones goes, can that be true? Was Cestus 3 an intrusion on their space? Spock goes, it may well be possible. We know very little about that section of the galaxy. Then Bones goes, then we could be in the wrong. And then Spock goes, perhaps. That is something best decided by diplomats. That's a third example of Spock saying, it's not my job to decide these things. It's someone else's job to decide these things. So Spock's very good at sort of like laying down boundaries of
chain of command
of what it is he's supposed to be doing and what is he's not. Whereas someone like Kirk would go more based on instinct and that kind of thing. And so I just thought it's interesting that you can really see several examples of Spock sort of, Spocko being cool, yo.
Well, I'll rescue you from that awkward phrasing construction, Dan.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we'll get back to your list in a second, but just by emphasizing that again, this is 1966 in the context of the Cold War, Vietnam War, post World War II, post Korean War. All that stuff is going on. So a lot of these questions are about the justifications for conflict, but at the same time trying to stress the value of chain of command and things like this. Interesting philosophies being all packaged together here.
Well, I thought it was interesting. Did you know the origin of this particular episode?
No.
So if you look at the end, it says, based on a short story by Frederick Brown.
Okay.
So which is interesting because I saw that at the end. I was like, what was, usually you don't see TV shows based on short stories. And so it turns out that Frederick Brown wrote a story in the 1940s that was essentially this story. I mean, it didn't have, Gorn and Star Trek and stuff that.
Was it not a sci-fi story? Was it more?
It was a sci-fi, and Frederick Brown was a sci-fi writer. In fact, he was one of the big influences on Stephen King eventually. But he wrote this particular short story, and instead of, being trapped on a planet necessarily, it was a human, and there was an invading alien force, and some third person, some Metron-like thing,
the Metrons,
basically transported one of them each into an arena, a real arena, and it was actually called Arena. So the story, the arena was a lot smaller, but they had to fight to the death with whatever they can find, and they said, well, and it was the same kind of thing with the you are too aggressive species, and we'll kill the people who the whole force of the one who wins. So, which,
by the way, was also a funny sort of justification to be like, we think we're disgusted by how violent you are, so we're going to set up a particularly violent combat to prove how you're violent, but we'll reward the most violent one. I don't know.
You're so violent, you're going to make a weapon out of
And in this particular one, the human won, and then the other race was wiped out.
Oh, right. So I was going to ask if it ended in the same way, but it clearly didn't.
But I thought it was interesting because this is it was written right after the end of World War II, so you had this kind of nuclear blast that was killing people. So it was kind of in a similar but different context.
Okay.
And then the episode was based on that, and so I thought that was really interesting. That kind of influence,
and it definitely, when you consider the conversations that they're having, as Dan noted, the can be interpreted as sort of anti-colonial. We plopped a colony down, and
outpost scientists,
and even if we had best intentions, maybe some other people would be like, you know what, you're invading into our.
They were just trying to throw massive parties on.
I like in Star Trek in particular, but more broadly, I like the stories that sort of question people's assumptions about each other.
Aliens came along and said, "You can't party."
Yeah, often it's a communications issue.
I've heard you've got to fight for your right.
Fight for your right.
You do. That's what Kirk was all about.
Yeah, fighting for your right.
One
Beastie
point,
Boys.
the Metron says the loser along with his ship shall be destroyed in the interests of peace. So I don't know if he was trying to speak ironically on behalf of the ridiculous. If he was basically saying you humans and Gorn are stupid, it's like you want to kill each other in the name of peace, or if the Metron didn't realize that what they were saying.
The Metron, not to skip to the end, of course, but the Metrons are sort of presented as aloof, but maybe kind of right, maybe more advanced. But I don't know. I think another version of this would have Kirk be like, "Oh, you guys seem like a fucking asshole. You think you're all better than us." Okay. All right, continue the list.
I'll finish it this time.
All right. How many items are on this list?
5.
Not that that's a problem.
No, there's 5 left. It's 5 left. It's quick. So I already talked about how he's presumptuous or presumptive or whatever about the reason for the Gorn attack. Number 2, I felt he was strangely vengeful. He's so focused on vengeance that he is putting the whole crew at risk by pushing into unsafe warp territory.
Is that like a Freudian slip?
We
must destroy them.
So it's basically he becomes so consumed by his vengeance that he basically got the blinders on.
Which I agree is a little weird.
And even Scotty's like, this is really dangerous, dude. I don't know. That's something. So it seemed like something Kirk wouldn't do, but if you would rather think of it as that's something Picard wouldn't do,
I think the justification.
Kirk's done it a few times.
Yeah, what worked for me here was it wasn't Kirk sort of blindly being like, we gotta fuck these people up. He did at least have the justification
of
the strategic justification
them from doing it again,
or specifically to prevent this particular ship from getting to contact their home base.
That's what I'm saying, to prevent it from happening again.
Well, in theory, yeah, but I'm just saying it's not like he's trying to destroy the whole alien race or whatever. He was just like, okay, this scout or whatever this group is, and there's a logic to that. You can still disagree with the action because these are, sapient.
I mean,
creatures.
But it wasn't just like it wasn't even him just executing someone. He was chasing someone who was running away.
Yes, well, exactly.
But I understand, but he is trying to prevent it from happening again. Yeah. But
well, they were saying invasion. They're going to invade us. Yeah. So it was kind of a threat to not only that colony but everybody in the Federation.
It was logical based off of his assumption. So again, it's playing around with that idea that if the assumption is correct, then he's probably right. We got to kill this ship as quickly as possible. But is the assumption correct? No.
Invasion.
He's also number 3. He's also so vengeful. He's willing to not only put his crew at risk, but kill everyone on a ship full of lives based on an assumption, basically. And they make a point of that too.
A ship full of lives.
Because he's talking about this brings into point 4, where Spock says destroying the ship won't bring the people back. And Kirk goes on some rant about being the space police and how punishment is necessary to prevent future issues.
Space police.
So he's making an emotional decision that appears to be fueled by logic, but it honestly appears to be mostly like, yes, there's a logical reasoning behind what he's doing, but it seems like he's very emotionally motivated in this situation.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with the decision is not whether it makes sense or not. It's that it's fueled by emotions.
Yeah.
And so
he really thought he was going to have a party down on that planet.
yeah, and what?
Well, they were going to have a good time on that planet.
Oh, yeah,
when they got there and it was all
Actually, you know
effed
what?
up.
That actually helps explain it better. He didn't care about everyone getting murdered. He's pissed off that he didn't get to have whatever awesome time they were going to have with the Commodore.
Whatever it was going to be awesome.
But
Rank
and
has its privileges.
and it'll never happen again because presumably the Commodore is dead, and so is his chef.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's what's driving this.
But
Or McCoy.
they even made a mention about sentient, like Spock saying it's full of sentient life, and he's like, "Who gives a shit?" And like Uhura turned around and they played the tense music of
They played like the what the fuck, Captain?
yeah, right. So he's basically saying, "I don't care if they're sentient. Like we're gonna get them." You know. Number 5. If the aliens go unpunished, they'll be back. And I just gave number 5. Spock says, I merely suggested that a regard for sentient life. And then Kirk says, there's no time for that. Mm-hmm. And that's when Uhura says, like, what the fuck, you know? He says, it's a matter of policy out here. We're the only policemen around. A crime's been committed. Oh, yeah, I like this. Spock, he goes, do I make myself clear? And Spock goes, very clear. And Kirk goes, I'm delighted, Mr. Spock. I like that line. He says he's delighted. It's just, it's kind of like it's like a fuck you almost.
Yeah.
The captain's fuck you.
I'm delighted, Mr. Spock.
Number 6, the Gorn ship slows to a stop, and Sulu says that they're dead out there. They can't move. And so instead of like initiating a conversation at this point, Kirk's just like, it's like, we got him.
Yeah.
And he uses the opportunity to blow them up
them.
instead of communicating, which is pretty damning, I thought.
I agree, and unusual. And this is, I mean, nothing new in Star Trek, and this is, of course, season 1. We saw this a lot on Voyager, where you have the character act the way you need to act to tell the story.
Yeah, right.
And in this case, they wanted Shatner, they wanted Kirk's character to be the one that's sort of the fulcrum.
Right,
of
and
this.
that's precisely what was happening.
In a different
that's
episode.
The only way the episode could work.
Yeah, I get it, and especially as Rob noted, if they've based this off of a pre-existing story where you take 2 leaders and it's got to be Kirk that's in this situation. Now, I do think you could probably still have this story work without Kirk being all like gung ho about this shit. He could be more reluctant about it. You could structure it in such a way where you still get to the same place. And it's less Kirk realizing at the last moment that he shouldn't just like kill a defenseless person, and more about he never wanted to be in that position in the first place, but at the same time, he's gotta go with the flow sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, you have 2 leaders you're talking about, but what do you get when you have 4 leaders though? Are you making a leaders versus liters joke? I'm just asking a question. I just want to clarify how annoyed I should be with you. I don't know, man. Like, you're the one getting annoyed. I'm just asking a question.
That's fucked up.
Okay, what was the question again?
Well, you were talking about 2 liters, but what if it was 4 liters?
Yeah, okay. Well, I honestly couldn't say. That's a what if that I don't have sufficient information.
Well, then you'd have a gallon.
I mean, is that accurate? Basically.
Yeah, 4 liters is a gallon. It's 1.057 gallons, but yeah, it's a gallon.
Okay. Do you think that's close enough for the joke to work?
Yeah, 1.057. Hello. I mean, okay, how many grams are in an ounce? It's not 28, it's like 28.3 or something like that, isn't it? So,
I mean, I try to steer clear of this type of stuff.
I'm just saying.
I really like that Dan's list was about the philosophical battles that Kirk is going through, and mine was like, there was a fly that I have plenty of lists that I've had several lists that I think have been titled something to the effect of weird things. Really? Well, that's my list. And my second list is weird things.
Yeah, well, I mean, the weird things are arguably more fun to talk about, so more entertaining. Because I do have another list, and this is this is a sucky list. 4 lists.
I've got another list.
I'm not saying we don't have to do this list, but
you're always saying this. You say the list, and then you say we don't have to do it.
The only reason I'm bringing it up is because Rob brought up the point about how I have this really philosophical list, but this other list is just called called Fight, and it's just going through
Is
all
it
the
a short list?
It's a 16-point list of all the Gorn fight.
All right, we're gonna have two.
So that's why one of my point I'm making is that there's lists of all kinds.
Well, we're gonna have two. We're gonna have two long Glaubitz lists.
But we don't need this list.
No, in the third break, we're gonna do that. Now, I want to get all through this list action. I think this is a good structure.
Yeah, meaty
listy.
Yes.
I shall be merciful.
Maybe we should to add to the confusion. We'll alternate. You each do one list item back and forth.
Oh God.
I don't understand.
But yes, before we go to break, the couple things I did want to talk a little bit about that. I know we've touched on it. The slow fight. It was peculiar.
Slow.
Because
the swipes at the beginning.
Yeah, because it was like I get like the Gorn is reptilian and slow, but then why is Kirk also like?
Have you ever done stage combat, like actual like on stage combat?
Not much.
I remember the Institute for the Arts. I took a class once.
Yeah, when you do stage combat, like that's the speed you do it first. Is like that slow,
and then you
build up to like a normal human speed. But it seems like they just never got faster.
Well, I guess because this is not like weeks of rehearsal before a long engagement.
But that's not like complex stage choreography. Well, yeah. It's just like a swipe.
Well, I mean, and I've seen William Shatner do some like pretty decent stunts before, so it must have just been a limit. I'd say it's a limitation of the Gorn costume.
I think it was a costume limitation. And I think it was because the Gorn couldn't see Shatner, and he didn't want to like clock Shatner in the head, so they had to do it slow because Shatner was having to like control everything.
Yeah,
I don't know how you could have seen out of that shit.
Yeah, because I don't think the costume was too like brittle that it would fall apart if he went faster.
I mean, they hit it with a rock.
That's true. Like a big like 30
rocks.
Like 30, 40, 50
Those
kilo
big rocks.
Right.
All right, we gotta take a break, and when we get back from break, sounds like we're gonna have a two Glaubitz lists and
list fight.
List fight, and then we'll conclude our discussion of the extremely classic, if I can use that adverb on that particular. On that extremely classic, on that adverb, on that adjective?
Yes.
Okay.
You can.
Arena. We'll be right back.
This is no drill. This is no drill.
Is it a drill?
And we're back.
Keep those screens up.
You gotta keep your screens up.
Gotta keep them screens up.
Flank out.
Okay.
Please answer.
Flank out, baby.
You know, Spock's always saying like his A's weird.
Please answer.
Answer. He's always saying
Right.
It's not just that word. There's other words he said.
Yeah, he does a lot of that.
There's a bunch of funny
because he's a Vulcan.
Pronunciations. Do you have more Spock ones?
Well, I have
because there's the Shatner ones.
I have a weird Shatner pronunciation.
You're talking about like? Can I guess?
Okay, guys, can you guess what pronunciation I'm gonna go with?
Okay, no. Just to clarify, am I allowed to verbalize my guess, or do you want us to hold back and then you play it and then we comment on it?
Yes.
That doesn't.
Yes.
I was gonna get the two that I noticed from my perspective.
Okay.
The two that stood out to me is that Kirk kept calling the Gorn the Gon.
Apparently called it Gorn.
Yeah, well, that one is a little bit better. But the other one was the Metrons. He kept calling the Metrones.
Yes.
But Spock also called them the Metrones.
Yes.
You both are right.
Yes.
You both did it. You both did it. So here we go from the start.
We are the Metrons.
So we know
Very
they're
clear.
Metrons.
Very
Metrons.
clear.
Here, and if it once wasn't good enough for you, here's this.
We are the Metrons.
They said it again 2 different times. Okay, Kirk.
You're a Metron?
Who is this, the Metron?
This is the USS Enterprise calling the Metrons.
The Metrons said there would be weapons.
Spock arguably even pronounces it more trony than
which is funny
Kirk.
because with Shatner Canadian, you could say it's kind of like saying project, you know, it's like a Metron. That's just a pronunciation thing. But
I think
Nimoy's from Boston.
I think in every episode there's this sort of wide range, and it's just by coincidence that they happen to make it sound the same. They're taking two different approaches to pronouncing that word, and it just happens by accident to sound the same. Sometimes they're going to pronounce it completely different. Just lines up differently every time.
What I was thinking maybe was that, I mean, like the Spock and Kirk are saying it in the context of filming the episode, but that they later do the voiceover for the Metrons, and then Metron dude decided to say it differently. And they didn't without looking at what they actually said in the episode.
But the thing is if
they were actually working together
in the script, I guess you could still say without, like, if it had an E at the end, it would definitely be Metrons. Without the E at the end, okay. I was about to say, to me, that I would read that as Metrons, but it's fair to say somebody could pronounce it Metrons.
It's just inconceivable.
Inconceivable.
It's just inconceivable.
I like that
Inconceivable.
too. Yeah, I thought that.
I was
In
curious.
fact, I actually said that after McCoy said that in the episode.
It's hard not
Inconceivable.
Anybody want a peanut?
Okay, now we've got a couple of lists here from a couple of brotherly lists. How do you want to do this?
Well,
Let's do Rob's first.
All right.
Sure. Okay, so mine was just a list of stuff that doesn't make sense in this episode.
All right.
Those are always fun.
Yeah. So the first thing is the tricorder grenade, which
my
I
God.
just thought was just awesome. It's just like Spock's like, oh, my tricorder, and then he threw it and it blew up.
And if I understand correctly, if I interpreted it correctly, what he was saying is that the Gorn, I guess, did something to overload it, and then
Locked onto my tricorder.
Is that one?
yeah,
Locked onto my tricorder.
so it wasn't
You
something,
sank my battleship.
he wasn't doing.
Sank my battleship.
Hey, that's Sadler, William Sadler, who plays Sloan in Deep Space Nine in Section 31.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you
He was
may be a
also-
king or a street sweeper, but sooner or later you dance with the Reaper. That's from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
And remember when he was in the movie?
Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, he gets the rope for Andy Dufresne.
Andy Dufresne.
Yeah.
They've locked onto my tricorder.
You sank my battleship.
Sank my battleship.
I agree, Rob. That was so weird that I was confused. I had to rewind it a couple times to see
I think-
exactly what
I
happened.
think somehow what happened is, they used some kind of telecommunications power to lock onto the thing and overload it, do some kind of reverse. You know how sometimes they blow up their phasers by like doing some
On
reverse
purpose,
overload
yeah,
thing?
yeah.
I think that's what happened there. But like, remember when like cell phone batteries were exploding? Like how big were those explosions? They hurt you, but they weren't like a big giant boom.
I think explosion is an exaggeration.
Yeah,
they were
right.
catching fire.
Yeah, right. So
Which is still bad.
So,
They were
but the
smoking.
point is that even if they overloaded this, it's a tricorder. It's not a phaser full of like phaser laser juice. You know,
Right.
Phaser laser.
It's not
Phaser-
lethal kill you
it's
juice.
just some like an information data presenter, reader, interpreter, and
just
like
gonna get
and
hot.
it just made a big grenade explosion.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, grenade explosions are always often in movies and TV shows. They're like much bigger than they're supposed to be because grenades just like shrapnel flying around.
There's more about the shrapnel.
It's more about the shrapnel, but they always make them seem like this big giant boom. But anyway, yeah, that was weird. That was really weird.
right.
It was kind of fun. I mean, it was kind of fun though.
All right, so in principle, this list is working out pretty well so far, Rob.
So far. So the second thing was they said to send 30 medical staff down from the Enterprise. Now, so it depends on what number you look at, but it's like 203 people on the Enterprise or maybe 430
I think
depending.
400 at this stage.
Yeah, so but even so, like 30 like is almost 1/10
That's
of
a
the
lot.
staff, medical staff.
And why were they sending that many down? Because
Right.
it didn't seem like there were many survivors down.
Yeah, and they didn't send McCoy, so like
Yeah.
isn't he like the head of the medical staff?
That's a good point. They're like, you
Yeah.
can keep McCoy back.
I was thinking about that. When do you send down a medic? Because a medic, it's like when you're playing a role-playing game, when do you use a cleric versus a paladin? Because a cleric is more geared towards healing. Now, in a party that small, you don't want to lose your fighting ability. You still want good fighters in there. So is it worth removing a fighter just so you can have someone to heal everyone else? If your party's too small, it might not be worth it. You'd want a bigger party.
Of course, in that context, you have a fixed party size versus here.
The only thing
apparently
they're
can send
doing
everybody.
is like launching that shit.
I'm just saying, would you consider McCoy more of a cleric or a paladin? Because he's got some fighting ability, but he is a really good medic. So maybe he's like, clerics often have stronger constitutions than like mages and wizards. And I think the reason is because it's not as useful to have a healer that can't fight. You want a healer that can also fight.
Right,
because you don't want to waste
It's
a whole
defensive.
You don't want to waste a whole fighting slot on just healing, So
Right.
I was just thinking about that in terms of that. Because like a wizard can be weak because they can throw fireballs,
I enjoyed your editorial on role-playing mechanics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, clerics can also cast like poison spells and things like that, like
Right.
anti-healing type things too.
Right.
So they do have offensive skills.
And they tend to have more hit
You can
points.
heal
They
it
do.
and take it
Yeah.
from it.
So yeah, I was just thinking about the logistics of what you lose in fighting when you add a healer to your group, And McCoy's a pretty tough guy.
All right.
So, but that goes with what you were saying about
He's a
like
sensualist.
It's
He is
like-
a sensualist. Yeah, I was like, goddamn right, me too.
Yeah. Because you wouldn't want 1/10 of your Enterprise ship like full of healers, right?
It was
That
a
would-
lot of
yeah.
medical staff for one particular
Seemed like
ship.
it.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Yeah.
What's next?
Okay, so next was the bamboo. Okay,
Yeah.
You surprise me, Captain.
Whoops, sorry. I was meant to play this.
Doctor, you are a sensualist.
So, but you're on a world which is like clearly very dry.
Yeah.
So the whole like placement of props all around there, like with all the different things they were trying to find on their weird like. So okay, so side note, like it seemed like if anyone's played the game Monkey Island.
Oh yeah,
but it was like
Secret
a
of
Monkey Island quest. You have to like go find all the different things and put them together, and then make like a weird bamboo gun to shoot the Gorn. It was like this weird crazy quest that you had to fulfill.
Find the coal and the rope and the thing.
And so all these different things, but the bamboo. I mean, it's literally a dry planet, and there's bamboo growing in the middle of a rock on a dry planet.
Yeah, it's just sticking out there.
Bamboo, which is traditionally a very wet area kind of thing. So, and a lot of the bamboo was just cut off at the top, except for like a little greenery. So that was just like weird, the prop bamboo.
Quick question about the prop bamboo. So he found that extra wide
bamboo.
They were really wide. Now, does bamboo usually have like a something at the bottom to keep shit that can you just take a bamboo and use it as a container like that? Because he was
it's usually like
big enough.
Internal membrane.
But like
segmented membrane.
Segmented things.
Are the segments really gonna be blocking enough to keep shit from falling out?
Yes.
I don't know.
I think it's rare that it's that wide.
But it's that wide.
I don't know if you can make a gun out of it, but certainly it would hold.
What was
stuff.
the rope for to brace it to keep it from?
I think keep it from exploding.
Yeah,
because it's still exploded.
In like a cartoon
Yeah,
way.
It's
totally
wood.
cartoon style.
It's really brittle wood. It's gonna totally splinter.
Yeah, it did. Anyways,
it did. So the next one is, how does Kirk not know about sulfur?
Yeah,
like. Didn't he go to Starfleet Academy?
He's a what was an encyclopedia, a walking encyclopedia. He's
but
a
he
very
doesn't know
bright guy.
what the fuck sulfur is and what it does.
Well, I guess the question was, I guess he knew what sulfur was, but they were trying to indicate that it was jogging his memory. It's like, okay, if I have sulfur and I have potassium chloride, they were trying to get the pieces to like he can make gunpowder, but it was awkwardly presented.
So
and
at that point, he had just discovered the sulfur.
Yeah.
Like the sulfur that's just like a bunch of yellow powder, like
stinky sulfur,
like sitting out on a rock.
During
somewhere.
the break, I was saying like it just looked like someone took a bag and poked a hole in it and walked around
that's exactly what they did.
It wasn't like spread around at all. It was just like lumps,
But he hadn't found the potassium chloride. He hadn't found anything else. He just found the sulfur, and he's like, something in my brain
smells like
reminds me of something. What does sulfur do?
I think like one of the things when they were saying very old, I think they were talking about how the fact that they don't use gunpowder, I guess, in the future. But remember when Spock was talking to Bones, Spock was like, they would make talking about the diamonds with sufficient force would make a formidable projectile. Mm-hmm. And McCoy was like, what force? And then Spock says, recall your basic chemistry, Doctor. Gunpowder. So, Kirk apparently didn't remember his basic chemistry either. Do you think Spock would have told Kirk to remember his basic chemistry if he was there? Do you think Spock would have rubbed that, in his face?
Spock would have conveyed the message in a more polite fashion.
Yeah. Do you think Spock secretly delights in annoying McCoy?
Yes.
I don't think that I know that. I think it's made apparent through the various interactions that they have had over 50 years.
But he's logical. He doesn't have those emotions.
He's not a sensualist.
A sensualist.
Doctor, you are a sensualist.
Yep. Okay, so the Gorn eyelids are super cool. I don't know if that was like an addition.
I don't think so. I think that was original.
Cool. But so they could make the eyelids blink.
Yeah.
But they couldn't make the mouth like come even close to articulating with the speech.
It was great.
It wasn't even like remotely close.
I'm not 100%, but I think that was an original effect. The blinking eyelid, and they were pretty good with these puppy type things. But yes, it is funny that again, part of it's very sophisticated and the other part is just like hilariously unsophisticated.
Did they run out of money because there was a lot of like there were a lot of pyrotechnics, there was a lot of like, I mean, some of those stunt guys like were running by and debris was flying at them. I'm surprised like they could have gotten injured.
I think they did. I think plenty of them did. This was just kind of
what was the episode where that dude got ran over like a exploding thing where they went to that planet with the cave and he like actually got really injured? We did this episode. It was TOS. I don't remember.
Was that what are little girls made of? Was that when they were underground?
No, it was they were on a surface and there was some kind of like monster cave that was
that the apple
providing energy for the world.
Apple? I think that might have been
the apple. Hey Apple, maybe that was it.
Okay, next up.
I was just saying like to Rob's point, it seems like they must have run out of money or something because like
there's limited.
Some of
budget,
some of it was like really.
They
good
filmed these
special
things pretty
effects.
quick.
Yeah. So speaking of like that where they're filming them, okay, they had that whole area, but they chose to film a Gorn walking on what was clearly a road.
Yes.
Like not even like disguised as a road. It was a road in whatever that. So.
Yeah.
So that's another one.
The old Vasquez Rocks, which this might have been the first time they were there. I can't recall exactly.
So.
Very prominent, but of course they've gone back there many times, and they also went there in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Right.
But did they show the road there?
I don't think they showed the road there. They did a better job of it.
The camera work I thought was really cool. Like when it was zoomed in on Kirk and it shows him running up the rock and it zooms out to show the whole Vasquez
That was
rock.
cool.
But like as it zooms out to show it, you can tell the camera is still moving along following Kirk.
Yeah.
So it manages to zoom out and follow Kirk and still get the Vasquez rock all in the same picture.
Did you like the
I thought
part
that was
where the
interesting.
Gorn just walks right into the fucking camera and just like keeps walking
Yes.
right into the
He's like walking into the camera. Yeah.
It gets all blurry.
You
and
remember
shit.
when Gorn did the zombie walk towards
Yeah.
Kirk at the beginning?
Yeah.
He was like chasing him.
So, and then there's Kirk has his like a little aluminum tool
Yes.
thing, whatever, but it's like clearly aluminum, right?
Yeah, it's like a recorder.
Right.
Or are you talking about the little recording device?
Whatever the recording
communicating device.
Yeah, but he's like trying to create a spark with
Yes.
this aluminum
Yes,
recorder
it's
thing.
It's not appropriate.
Which is not a thing that you can do.
Yeah.
I would think that's the most stressful part of that whole making the mortar cannon thing was trying to light that thing on fire because that's hard to do. Did you notice the Gorn was also trying to like knock two rocks together and he kept missing? If you see the first time he do it,
Because he can't
that's when he's
fucking see.
laughing. He kept missing. Yeah.
So why doesn't Kirk just walk away?
Yeah.
Because like he's way faster
Yes.
walking, even hobbling than the Gorn is.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he was just waiting. He was like making the whole thing, and the Gorn was very slowly advancing towards him.
Good point. I honestly hadn't considered that. But
I mean, there was a road. He could have just walked on the
and
road.
for a while, he did. Where he was like doing that whole like when he went up to go like throw that rock down, which like didn't quite work in the end. It was still fun. When Kirk was like, "Oh, there's a big rock up there. I'm going to go up there and push it over."
The rock that was conveniently like propped up by, and somehow he was able to push it off perfectly under the Gorn. But he was he couldn't outrun the Gorn.
I am almost exhausted.
He was like somehow something made him really exhausted about that whole thing.
Well, if he had just walked at a normal speed away from him, he would have been fine.
Yeah, but.
And then the last point that I have is so he fires really far away for a bamboo tube gun.
Yeah.
And like what if he missed?
Yeah.
I would have waited. I mean, it wasn't like the Gorn was very fast. You could have waited maybe another like 15 seconds for the Gorn to walk that 5 feet towards him. Yeah. And
I agree. Although it would it was cool that the Gorn was all super fucked up by the thing. You're kind of rooting for Kirk, but then like the Gorn is like really messed up by that shit. It was
those were like big like rubies or something.
And diamonds because they were talking about diamonds.
No, I won't kill you.
Again, just dumped in a sack, just dumped in one place. It's like,
Native sulfur, diamonds. This place is a mineralogist's dream. Yet
A mineralogist.
there is something about sulfur.
something about it.
That was an excellent list of weird things. Now we're going to what's your list about?
It's just going over the battle between Kirk and the Gorn.
Okay, this is useful because this is what we've talked about the least so far.
Okay, sure, let's do it. Okay, so it begins with Gorn grabbing a large stick, then Kirk grabs a twig, which he immediately discards.
Yeah. I like that because he was like, "Man, this stick is lame," but the Gorn stick was pretty rad.
Yeah, when the Gorn threw it away. That was throwing the stick away. So the Gorn does a super slow slash, and Kirk counters with one of this classic double fist punches to the back, which doesn't work, of course. And then he responds with another slow slash. This time, Kirk he easily dodges those, and he pulled out the second classic. What's second classic to the double fist punch? It's the chop to the back of the neck. Neither of those seem to be working that. So he used pretty much his whole repertoire, except in number 3, he gave him a nice like classic Kirk kick, which he blocked that one. So basically Kirk's out of hand-to-hand moves at this point.
Kirk used all his special moves.
Yeah.
None of them worked against the Gorn. That raises the tension.
Yeah, and so the Gorn throws him, and
then a fly landed on him.
That was when the fly landed after he got thrown.
After he got thrown.
Then the Gorn comes at him zombie style with his arms outstretched. Number 4, they grapple, and Kirk gets him by cupping his ears. That's what he does. He cups his ears.
That's what. Yeah.
I always hate when they do that move because it makes me like think. I just don't like thinking about that happening to me.
I think it would be uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it seems effective, and I don't want to think about
It's
it.
also something you don't see in sort of exhibition fighting because presumably you can fuck somebody up doing that. So when you're seeing, like, it makes sense in a life or death fight, but it's like,
Yeah. So number 5, Kirk throws a rock at the Gorn, and the Gorn throws a boulder at him. You can tell the boulder isn't that heavy. You know, we mentioned this about the way it's sort of like teetering and twitching as they pick it up, and it's like a rocking back and forth.
the rock was rocking back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Rock and roll.
at mark 29 minutes 15 seconds.
Is this a Bible quote?
Mark 25:15.
Sorry.
I don't know.
I don't know, sir.
That is something best decided by diplomats.
29 minutes and 15 seconds, we see our first shot of Vasquez rocks. He tries to find some good sticks to use there. He finds some diamonds and shit. Number 7, Kirk runs up Vasquez rocks, and that's when I was talking about how it zoomed out. It simultaneously zoomed out and followed Kirk, and still ended up on a good shot. I don't know much about camera work, and maybe that's really easy to do, but I thought it looked kind of like it seems like it'd be difficult to zoom out and
I
follow
thought it was
along
pretty
like
sophisticated,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. After Kirk gets to the top, he looks down. We see the Gorn trying to hammer the rocks into another rock, but he kept missing. Kirk found the conveniently placed boulder that's held up on its side with some smaller pebbles. And he pushes off the edge and somehow hits bullseye on the Gorn from way up there.
Again, to be fair, a lot of this can be explained by the inclusion of the Metrons. Or the Metrons.
You think they're influencing the fight somehow?
I mean, you can at least, your headcanon can permit that since they've arranged all this and have godlike powers, that's the reason the ingredients are all just laying around out there for them. Because even the Gorn's making this whole trap with the net and ropes and stuff like that, and gets, which is great because like Kirk is like, oh, I got the Gorn. He's like, oh shit, he didn't. He runs away. And he's like, oh no, I'm stuck in the trap. And
I've
so
got my head cannon loaded for Gorn.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. And what's good about that, of course, is that they were demonstrating that just because the Gorn looks like a dinosaur monster lizard, they were still intelligent, right? Mm-hmm. Clearly, they could plan and strategize.
But not intelligent to walk like 2 feet to the left to dodge the rock falling.
That's a good point. Yes.
So
I was thinking actually about there's a later point I have that references that point. Yeah. So I was trying to determine if I should talk about it now, but I won't.
Okay.
Next point. Kirk, he kind of clumsily runs into what I assume was some kind of vine and rock trap. Yeah. I assume that wasn't just like happenstance. I guess that was there.
We saw the Gorn making that trap earlier.
Oh, did we? I missed.
Yeah,
okay,
earlier you see the Gorn is all fiddling around like with the rock.
Okay, was that when he was missing with the hammer?
Right, it was before that, and then he was like, I think the Gorn set up the trap, and then he was trying to sharpen that rock so that he could stab Kirk when he got caught in the trap.
Right. Okay. So
but then Kirk crushed him with the rock.
Yeah. So I thought it was Kirk kind of clumsily ran into it. I thought, but whatever. It did what it had to do. But then, okay, Kirk looks like his goose is cooked. Right. That's when we go to break. And this, I'm talking about Gorn's intelligence. Coming back from break, when the Gorn, when it goes to break, we're like, Kirk's done for. There's how is he going to get out of this? He's trapped under this rock. The Gorn's right there. But then instead of just stabbing Kirk while he's trapped under the rock, the Gorn removes the rock from his leg before attempting to stab him, which allows Kirk to escape.
And then the mouse runs away.
Yeah, mouse runs away. So that was not a smart move on the Gorn's part. I don't know what he was thinking. Maybe the Gorn is just so unagile that he couldn't do it any other way. I don't know. That's got to be your headcanon for that, I guess. I don't know.
They'll have to prove it.
Kirk finds what I guess was supposed to be sulfur. It didn't show it is. Yeah. And then I would mention instead of him spraying it on the rocks, I always imagine them taking a powdered sugar shaker. Instead of doing that, they just kind of haphazardly threw it in lumps. I'm wondering if they did that to make it easier for Shatner to scoop it into the bamboo later.
I mean,
because make it. I don't know.
And again, I think you could argue Metrons did it.
I don't know if I buy that though.
You don't have to buy it. It's just
never mind, Mr. Spock.
It's an option.
Doesn't make much sense to me either.
I've frequently had my doubts.
So now at this point we get the crew. We get to the crew reality TV of the fight. Mm-hmm. An example, Patrick, that you like to point out of Star Trek watching Star Trek.
Yes, this is Star Trek watching Star Trek.
Yeah,
and real quick, make it one point that I wanted to make here is that this is a very well structured episode. However, it is a little peculiar that they completely shift the narrative device right here at the end.
I know.
Where at first it's just sort of omniscient viewer for a while, and then for a while it's Kirk talking to his personal diary.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they switch to now we're just watching Kirk from afar. And I get why they did it because it is tense to now switch to that. Now we're not with Kirk so much. We're observing and we can't, just like the crew, we can't help him.
Yeah.
But it is peculiar.
Well, I think it's interesting, and I think you can compare it to the episode with Ortegas when she met the Gorn. And there's a problem that you have with episodes like this. You're alone on a planet,
talking to yourself.
Yeah. And what do you do? And in the Strange New Worlds episode, they just had Ortegas talk to herself, which I felt really kind of artificial to me when I watched that, because it just felt like she was again just like talking and talking.
It was exposition-y, without a justification.
Right. So in this one, it seemed like they tried to solve the problem a different way by like choosing different ways. Sometimes Kirk was talking into his little like aluminum tube thing,
like a log.
Like if someone finds this sometime, and then it had like Spock, watching them on TV. And so I thought that was kind of interesting how they changed those like exposition devices.
It definitely works. It works better. And I think they just decided, okay, we'll just change it because that's what makes sense for this part of the story, which it's
maybe,
fine.
but I think that variety actually was nice. I didn't, that was one thing I didn't like about the Ortegas episode, that it just stayed the same. It kind of felt one note. It was a good episode, but like that felt a little one note to me.
I agree. And anytime those conventions are used, they can take you out of the episode a little bit when they're too obvious.
If there were only some way we could contact him.
So yeah, those Metrons would be good at producing reality television. They can just do it all with their minds. So Kirk runs away, and now we find out the Gorn can speak English because he's telling him that the Federation were the invaders. Now the Metrons mentioned something earlier about like some kind of translating device.
Well, I guess that's those little doodads.
The Metron said you will be provided with a recording translating device.
Yeah, that's their little razor.
But then how come Kirk couldn't understand the Gorn? I wasn't clear on why the Gorn could understand Kirk, but Kirk couldn't understand.
Because at that point in the story, it would have been interesting.
Right. So, yeah, that's what I wasn't clear.
At that point, he's recording, and then later the Gorn's like, "I've heard everything you're saying."
Maybe he wasn't saying words; he was just going,
the Gorn's like, "I'm scratching my bum."
Well, it made me think back to the. It made me think of that Strange New Worlds episode too, because so first of all, I think the reason we're wondering why did they erase Ortegas' memory in Strange New Worlds, and I think that's supposedly because they hadn't met the Gorn yet until Arena. And so, or they hadn't met the Metrons yet until Arena. And so they
wanted to use the Metron. We complained a little bit about that.
Yeah,
they just added this Metron business in for fun.
And then they said, we may need to reset your perception of the Gorn. Could be referring to the episode Arena itself, where Kirk and crew realized that the Gorn were trying to protect what was theirs instead of killing in the name of conquest. So they were saying, like, maybe in the future, you won't think the Gorn are so evil. You'll think they're all right, which is what they kind of learned in this episode. But it falls apart a little bit because Kirk had never heard of the Gorn in this episode. And he would have remembered them from the Strange New Worlds episode.
So that's a retcon.
And also the Gorn seemed pretty eager to engage in violent conquest in the Strange New Worlds episode. So, but like there was something about like in Strange New Worlds that the Gorn could understand English, right? So I was wondering if this episode, like the Gorn could understand English in the same way that the Strange New Worlds could. And so that was the same.
Works.
But I'm still confused by this recorder translating device. That's what Kirk was speaking into, but I don't know what its translating function was then. If it was what allowed the Gorn to understand Kirk, then it doesn't make sense Kirk could understand the Gorn, which is why I think that must not have been its function or something. But it was confusing to me.
Well, they stated it was its function, but again,
it didn't.
Its real function was to complete the Monkey Island quest at the end and to let him fire the bamboo gun.
Yeah. But yeah, they say it was the function, but like I said, to reiterate, if it was, then Kirk should have been able to understand the Gorn, unless what Rob said was true, that the Gorn was just growling and they weren't really saying anything.
All right.
Okay, so almost...
What's up with this list here?
Okay.
You got 20 items left?
No, I've only got 4 items left.
Oh, okay, good.
No, 3 items. So they run around for a while. Kirk finds the bamboo. It's super wide. It's closed on one end. Kirk pours shit in there and runs around, and then he's making his thing, his Monkey Island thing. Gets the rope, gets the coal, charcoal, or Spock said it could be charcoal or
the
something
rope,
else.
which was actually vines.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
But just looked like a rope.
It just looked like rope. That's what I assumed it was. And then now it makes sense. It's like, why would they have rope on? Yeah, okay. So, number 17, he makes the cannon, shoots the Gorn. Gorn gets hurt. Kirk has his chance to execute him, but here's the turn, and he doesn't do it. And then at the last point is the Metron appears, and he says, "Kirk, you're pretty cool after all." And then
every time you save a Gorn, a fairy gets its wings.
or a Metron gets its a quaff.
A note about the Metron: did you know that the Metron was played by a woman?
Oh no, I
So,
didn't.
yeah.
I know they were playing similar to what they did in the Strange New Worlds episode, playing around with the genderless presentation of these.
Yeah.
these
So
areas.
in this case, the Metron was actually played by a woman who was a dancer who was in other shows at the time and ended up being an acting teacher for a long time. But
that's cool.
But yeah, and then was voiced over by like one of the people that did all the voiceovers for Star Trek.
Star Trek. I'm the Star Trek alien man.
But yeah, I noticed I was watching it and I was like, this person looks like a ballet dancer.
Yeah.
And so then I looked at who was actually playing the Metron and it was indeed a woman.
That's cool. Yeah.
Does my appearance surprise you, Captain?
Does my appearance surprise you?
How about the way that I pronounce my name?
So Dan,
Metron.
I believe your list is concluded, right?
My list is concluded.
Good list.
You got any duties or no duties?
Yeah, are there any duties or no duties?
No duty or no duties this
no
week.
that's in orders this week?
No, nothing like that. So,
that's just fine. Well,
Guess that's it.
I mean, as we said, classic episode, highly and for good reason, right? Still holds up pretty well. Again, takes a while to get to the Gorn business. The first two parts are not as interesting after you've seen them once through, but still pretty well structured.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I guess that's probably unsurprising as to why people like that episode.
Yeah.
Next week.
We believe you have very little time left.
Yes, we have little time in this episode. And next week, I think we eventually decided that we're going to watch or discuss. We'll watch, you'll watch, and then we'll discuss and you'll listen to our discussion.
You'll watch and I'll watch.
Of Deep Space Nine episode, season 2, Deep Space Nine, Second Sight.
Oh boy.
I know. This Dan's algorithm, this was the one that came out, and we had a little debate.
I'm getting a lot of repeats now.
Yeah. But, it's I don't really remember the episode. I think it's probably a middling episode, but I don't know. I'm excited to go watch some Deep Space Nine. It's cozy. And it's a Cisco episode.
Cisco.
Do you remember in this episode, they were talking about their position was 2279 PL, and there is an uncharted solar system at 2466 PM. What do you think those mean?
I don't know.
PL and PM.
Maybe some sort of galactic coordinates. They kept talking about being flung across the galaxy and stuff too. It was really funny that people had the understanding of the distances in the galaxy and all that was very different in early TOS. And more to the point, I mean, I think people forget that it's not long before this that people understood that there was more than one galaxy, right? It used to people just thought this was the universe. And now then they were like, oh, actually, I think it was Hubble. They were like, there's billions of these things. Crazy business.
Do you remember what the red shirt was named?
Goobly Gop.
Close, actually.
Gimbal,
It was O'Hurley.
Oh dear.
I knew Jesse would get a kick from that. I don't know why, but I just knew it.
Yeah.
He died fast.
He did die fast. He was like extra red shirt.
Yeah, the way he died was kind of creepy.
And he
it doesn't really
disappeared.
I mean, it doesn't really make sense because everything was exploding, but then he just zipped out.
And it looked like it was painful. But he had a thick neck. He was one of those classic red shirt security guys with a big old thick neck. They had a whole squad of them over on the Desilu lot.
Mm-hmm.
Get some of those thick necked people, put a red shirt on them, and let's go. Mm-hmm. All right, so that was a fun discussion. Next week, Second Sight.
I was just gonna say, Spock. I liked when they first got to the planet. I think Spock's analytical nature was on full display because all these bombs are going off, and he's just like, we seem to be hopelessly outnumbered. He was like on point Spock. It was good.
On point Spock.
On point Spock.
This whole episode was on point Spock.
Captain, over there.
Yeah.
I am approximately 1,500 of your Earth years old.
We appeal to you in the name of civilization.
Civilization.
Put a stop to this.
And that's from the guy who when he goes to the fantasy land, he imagines having a plantation. Talking about civilization. Okay, so next week's Second Sight from Deep Space Nine, second season, and let's see, website www.iscastartrek.com. A sound effect? Sound.
I don't.
Okay. Feedback at itsgotStarTrek.com if you want to send us an email.
Thank you.
At It's Got Star Trek on all the old social medias. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook if you like.
YouTube.
All that good stuff. Thank you so much, Rob, for joining us this week. That was super fun.
Thanks for having me.
Hope you can come by again next time you visit, and maybe we'll talk about TNG's brothers or some other nonsense. And with that, we'll say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody, back to your posts. Let's get out of here.
You'll have to get your entertainment someplace else.
You'll enjoy Commodore Travers. He sets a good table.
I wonder if he brought his personal chef along with him to Cestus 3.
Probably. Rank hath its privileges.
How well we both know that, huh?